Jay, but it does affect the points coming into this round.
It does. Ultimately, we saw Tyler Gonzalez taking the third place trophy for BSI Racing in yesterday's race, but as a result of incident and contact out on the track, Tyler ultimately dropped from 3rd to 16th. That is a huge loss in points. Weston Workman, very similar, was deemed to have responsibility for contact out on the circuit. He dropped from, I think it was P5 on the circuit, down to P17, same exact punishment, 10 seconds. And a 30-second unserved drive-through penalty went the way of Grant West for contact, which we did see with not one but 2 separate cars in the race. That meant that he finished P21.
So it is the second of 2 races here, this second race weekend. This is effectively round 4 of the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. So a bit of a shake-up after those post-race penalties yesterday, but it has not affected the grid. Let's quickly tell you what has affected the grid, because a couple of people improved their times from qualifying. Bailey Cruz has moved up from the 18th position to 16th position. And also Sally Mott, who had an issue during qualifying, she's moved up from 34th to 30th. And also Ashley Speed moves up a position as well. That means that moving down a couple of spots, Steve Webber finds himself in 32nd rather than 30th, because the 2 ladies got better times than they qualified. Just a single qualifying session to set the grid for both of the races. At the front of the field, there's a familiar look if you were with us yesterday, as Jeremy Fletcher from McCumbee Racing has Nathan Nicholson alongside him for Advanced Autosports. Weston Workman, not sure he'll be overly happy about how the last part of the race went for him. He'll be wanting to improve on his points tally from yesterday. He'll start on the inside of row 2 for BSI, and JTR has Glenn McGee on the outside of the second row. The clock will start as the leaders go across the line at the end of this first formation lap. We will not go green until the next time by. It's Tyler Gonzalez in 5th position in the BSI racing car, and it's an all BSI 3rd row, in fact, because Elio Meza, the first of the rookies, is in 6th position. Jared Thomas, JTR Motorsport Engineering, so near and yet so far. Yesterday he'll be trying to improve. Grant West in 8th position for Spark Performance. It's another McCumbee Racing, Justin Adeconis, another one of the rookies in 9th, and Noah Harmon, who was the best of the rookies yesterday, in 10th position. Outside the 10 on row number 6, Nate Cicero and Vaughan Mishko. Vaughan managed to avoid some of the carnage that was going on. Then Bobby Gossett and Bryce Cornet. Caroline Candace is the Rafa Racing Team by MMR driver in 15th. Then, as we mentioned, Bailey Cruz up to 16th ahead of Peter Atwater and Alex Bachura. Then Malte Caceres for the other Rafa Racing Team by MMR. It's number 12 car. Ethan Goulard is another one of our rookies. Heather Hadley in 21st. Jagger Jones wasn't on the grid yesterday and will not be on the grid today, so everyone else will move up a position. It's Ren Messinger and Parker DeLong, then Todd Burris and Christian Hodelon. They were all involved in the incident yesterday at turn 11 after the fluid was put on to the track by Bailey Cruz's JTR Motorsport Engineering car. So after that, it's Jack Murchison, first race weekend for him. He actually really did a good job in avoiding what could have been a very nasty moment for him. Farhan Siddiqui, Chris Hadderman, then it's Sally Mott, Ashton Speed, Steve Webber and Ruben Caceres Matos.
Couple of notes just to keep your eyes on. We have not had a repeat for the best finishing rookie through 3 races this year. And watch out for Tyler Gonzalez. Unfinished business after yesterday. He's good on these streets as the green flag is out and Jeremy Fletcher sees it first.
Very, very good, clean break from everybody side by side. 2 deep, 3 deep, 4 deep, 5 deep, 3 rows back, and somehow they've all managed to get across the stripes at the end of the main runway at the Albert Willard Airport here. and through comes the pole sitter, the gold car on the outside in the grey, just managed to get enough grip, and now is trying to defend, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 across the track behind the leading 5, but that is a move forward by the, I think that was the number 50 car that was coming through, Grant Ward. I'm not sure how he, Grant West, excuse me, I'm not sure how he got all the way back down there. Must have not had the best start, but still they're fighting as they're coming through onto Bayside for the first time of asking, and at the front of the field, it's the number 56, Nathan Nicholson, from the outside of the front row, and she's pulling a face next to me.
How in the world did Jeremy Fletcher drop back to P4 through all that carnage? Because normally you don't change positions when you're in the streets of St. Pete. And now we have a lead change again, as I believe that's Weston Workman who's gone to the front in his purple machine for BSI. Nicholson drops into second. Now that's Gonzalez up to third. That's Jared Thomas in fourth, and Fletcher P5 with Glenn McGee hanging on for P6. It is all change at the front of the field, and if you heard that sharp intake of breath and the exhalation of relief, that would be Aaron Segal in the media center, because we did make it through turn 1, even though they did decide to go as many cars wide as the front straight could take.
Keep an eye on that dark blue and white number 13. That's Weston Workman, last year's rookie of the year. Took away a big check at the end of the season for that, staying in the championship, and he's got a great run out of turn 3. He'll pressure the leader, Nathan Nicholson, in that multicoloured car. He's got position down the inside to go to the inside and goes through and cuts back into the lead. And following him through there, the red and white car of Jared Thomas. No, excuse me. No, it's not. It's Gonzalez that's followed him through. Jared Thomas is still sitting down in fourth.
And now we've got teammates at the front of this field, because Weston Workman and Tyler Gonzalez both representing BSI. That is Shea Holbrook's team, and that is a very strong duo to put the elbows out. Nathan Nicholson used to running on his own, the Advanced Autosport team, without a sister car at the head of the field. Then we've got JTR, well, JT of JTR running around by himself with Jeremy Fletcher behind us. There is a slippery surface flag out at the final corner. There was a bit of fluid that was laid down, and this is since the green flag, so they are going to be experiencing a little bit of movement perhaps in the rear of the car.
Now that is not like a yellow flag. It doesn't mean you can't overtake. It is an advisory that there's something on the track that shouldn't be there. It could be fluid, it could be a bit of bodywork, but basically it's something on the track, as I say, that shouldn't be there. I won't tell you what my flagger and marshal friends say, because there's a bit of a rhyme about on the track, and it ends in a pig. But it shouldn't be there. Down the inside again, watch this gold car coming from a long, long way back. And that is, once again, a big dive from the number 50. And that's Grant West looking to make a move with the iRacing logo on the bonnet, on the hood of his car, as he comes through, and he has got through.
The car that was dropping fluid, I'm being told, was Ethan Goulart in the number 29 machine for Sauto Motorsports Group. That car has retired, unfortunately.
Excuse me, that wasn't the number 50 at all. It was Glenn McGee, of course, in the 69 car with the iRacing on the bonnet in the gold Lame style car, gold chrome.
The man who started his career famously on iRacing and has proven very successfully that the transfer of technology, it does work for some people, very well for Glenn.
Well, and actually this weekend, I did notice that the first Nissan GT Academy winner, Lucas Ordonez, was winning the electric powerboat Grand Prix in Qatar, on the outskirts of Doha, and he's driving, and they do call it driving or piloting. He's driving for Will Smith's team, and so congratulations to Lucas Ordonez for that, proving that there's more than one way to get into motorsport. Front of the field then, Workman, Gonzalez, 0.3 of a second on the timing screen. It's about 2'6" between them on the track, if that, as they continue to circulate dare I say, much smoother than we saw yesterday. Here's the part of the track that we had the problem when 3 cars went into the barriers and people had to avoid them at turn 10, as they're now heading through to the insanely quick chicane at 11 and 12. And let me tell you, that is not even, it's not a break. It might be a little bit of a lift off there, but it certainly isn't braking in these Mazdas. You're really committing to the right-left of turns 11 and 12, and you should be flat drifting the car through the middle of that. And our leader actually hit the curb pretty hard, Weston Workman, as they go through.
You might be wondering why Tyler Gonzalez is showing the nose to his sister car. Well, because when you lead laps in this championship, that earns you points. Leading the most laps walks away with 10 bonus points. You might think 10 points when you win 350 for a race victory. That's not that big of a deal. Well, our championship has been decided by 10 points just a couple of years ago. And last year, it wasn't many more than 10 points that ultimately decided the difference between $250,000 and $85,000 at the end of the season.
And that's a single position.
Correct.
In a race. At the moment, Jeremy Fletcher has the fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 25.0. That's an average speed of over 76 miles an hour round the 1.8 miles, if you prefer. That is in that context, that tells you what a high speed these guys are keeping up.
Speed limit for the streets that they're racing on now that they've just turned off of to go onto the runway, 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So they would be getting a lot of fines if there were cameras set up.
Yeah, points on the licence in the UK. Nathan Nicholson has a bevy of cars behind him. That's the yellow, black and white car, first of the second group. Now challenge for the lead here is Tyler Gonzalez in the dark-fronted number 57. Shows the nose again to his teammate, but as Shea says, this is not necessarily actually making a passing manoeuvre there. He's just getting a bit of air on that front end of the car to keep the radiators cool. These cars come in from Japan as standard street MX-5, the 2-litre 180 horsepower inline 4-cylinder normally aspirated engine. They come in at Jacksonville, I believe, in northeastern Florida, and they are taken down to the brothers Flis of Flis Performance, just outside of Daytona, actually, where the cars are stripped down like a Lego kit and then basically rebuilt. The engine's put over there the corner, and
What, over there?
over there.
Yep.
See that?
Yep.
Yeah, over there the corner.
Oh yeah, where it says engines go here.
Yeah,
Yep.
engines go here, and Mazda Motorsport put a seal on it, so that, in fact, a number of seals on it actually, so there can be no jiggery or indeed pokery on the engine. And when the more than 250 bespoke racing parts go onto that Mazda and it's ready to go, and the engine goes back in with a new gearbox, the SKYACTIV sequential box, untouched, it is still the standard motor. 180 horsepower is enough because these cars get even lighter as they become a race car. There's various things stripped out from the cars. Of course, they do get a roll cage added, which is fully FIA approved, and a fire suppression system. We don't like to see them being used, but they are there. There is no compromise on the safety. Battle for third, down the inside, Jeremy Fletcher goes through, neat, tidy, clean, respectful.
And hello to his team owner, Stephen McAleer, we're helping him right now, John. He's petrified of flying, and he said he almost can't watch. He's on a plane from Austin right now. He's not unable to watch because of the nerves of the race. He's just scared to be in an airplane in general. So Jeremy Fletcher now moving up another position, looking for a bit of redemption after yesterday's race. That will also be helping Stephen on his way. As Tyler Gonzalez continues to pull out, I don't think he's actually looking on his teammate. I think he's pulling the car a bit.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. He's not made a concerted effort. He might just be, those are teammates. Maybe they have got some kind of shorthand in what's going on. And at the moment, if he's sitting like that and pulling out, he could be saying, we're all right at the moment, I haven't got anybody on my tail. But what we've got to keep an eye open for is for that Jeremy Fletcher blue and white car, now in third position. Now he's in the middle of the runway now. Now will they work together? Fletcher and Thomas They are closing down, and we will have a full Mazda MX-5 battle for the lead in the next lap or two. I will guarantee it, as we've still got over 32 minutes to go. Once again, second place driver pulls out as they're heading down First Street. Turn right onto 2nd Avenue. Then they go onto Beach Street for a little short shoot before they turn right onto Central. And then onto Bay Drive, Brayshaw Drive. Now,
will Fletcher and Thomas work together? Well, they finished second and third in the championship last year. Fletcher won 3 out of the 4 final races. Thomas has won 2 out of the last 3 championships. I think as long as they both think that the partnership is helping them more than, themselves more than it's helping the other driver, they will work together. But as soon as there becomes a moment where they see a weakness in the other driver, they will stop working together very quickly.
Or when it gets down to the last few laps.
Oh, naturally. Yeah. We have 31.5 minutes to go. I mean, they're driving like we have 5 minutes to go.
What they have to do now, what is in their minds now, is getting back to the 2 BSI racing cars in front to make it a quartet. Well,
and the problem that they have is that it is 2 BSI racing cars, whereas they are each individual. And as the number 12, that's Maite Caceres, isn't it, goes for a spin coming out of the final corner, but she's pulled offline enough. She should be okay. And now the question is, does she have a problem, which she needs to make it back into the pit lane?
No, very good. She's got not always easy to get back down to first when the car isn't moving. If you haven't gone down through the gearbox whilst you're moving forward and the car stalls, with it being a sequential gearbox, it's not as if you can just pull the stick around from 4th, put it into 2nd and then into 1st. You've got to click it back down through the gears like a motorcycle gearbox. Anyone who rides 2 wheels will know. Oh, right up against the wall for Nathan Nicholson there. The good news is, with that rapid car going around, there are very good sight lines coming out of the final corner, and actually she wasn't on the exit on the racing line. Have a look at Nathan Nicholson's car. Did they get a little bit of a scrape when they hit the wall? And we've now got, well, now you see I was wrong. I've been proved wrong, because we've got 3 cars for the lead. Jared Thomas not quite there. Now let's see if we can work out what happened on the grid.
Yep.
Oh, ooh. Great. Sally Mott in the number 15 JTR car. A brilliant piece of checking up and avoidance.
Sally was our Penske Shocking Performance Award yesterday as well for passing the most cars.
I said it would be close, didn't I? Yeah. Because there was a couple of people missing on the grid, I wasn't quite prepared to commit to which one of the starters it was going to be.
I don't blame you at all for that.
Because Ruben Gutierrez Matos was also making up quite a lot of positions.
I'm wondering if maybe Jared Thomas has let Jeremy Fletcher go. If he sort of took him off the leash and said, go on, son, you have a go at them. Tell you what, you go use up your Michelin tires, and then when all 3 of you have nothing left, I'm going to come through and take this win.
Jeremy Fletcher has taken fastest lap of the race.
So far.
That's 10 points. The only thing I would say about that, Shea, and far be it from me to gainsay or second guess Jared Thomas, not with his record of winning races and indeed championships.
Yes.
In the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. I'd just be a bit worried that these 3 and the draft might just start to pull away. Now, if they start fighting, all bets are off. But at the moment, and the point that you made earlier, I think is absolutely key to this, there's 2 BSI cars together. Now, notice what I was saying earlier on. We're not seeing Tyler Gonzalez pulling out from the draft anymore. So here is the clue that we were talking about earlier, whether it's a shorthand, because the drivers do have car-to-pits radio, but not car-to-car radio. So maybe that's, now he just does pull out a little bit there. Maybe just getting a bit more air on the radiators. But now this is starting to get interesting. These 3 cars, just under half an hour to go on the streets of St. Pete's.
And the battle is heating up at the front of the field, but also further back. Take a look on the scoring pylon and observe minus 3.6 seconds is how far Nathan Nicholson in 5th is off of this battle. But immediately behind him, going all the way down to 8th place, the the heat is there fully.
Yeah.
You've got Nicholson, McGee, and Mishko, who is on a great recovery drive after his solo spin yesterday. Then a little bit of space back to Nate Cicero, who has Justin Adiconis and Bobby Gossett with him. Now, Cicero is running for Sato Motorsports Group this year, but the two cars behind, they're MMR cars, and they're both rookies. They're looking at a former Rookie of the Year to try and live and learn from a driver who used to be with his team, and by the way, still has a good relationship with MMR as well.
Yeah. And mention of Von Mishko in that advanced Autosports number 99 car in 7. He is the leading rookie at the moment, and he's got Nate Cicero in the number 19 Daytona Motorsport Group car between himself and Justin Adiconis, Bobby Gossett, Noah Harmon, and Elio Meza. And those four, line astern, are the next group of rookies.
Well, and remember what I said at the beginning of the race. We have not had a repeat for best rookie finisher so far this year. At Daytona, Ethan Goulart finished second in the first race. Ren Messinger finished third in the second race. As a look down the inside from Justin Adiconis, the student surpasses the teacher, and Nate Cicero drops back. He's now in the clutches of Bobby Gossett. At the first race yesterday, it was Justin Adiconis who took the best finishing rookie, but he was the first one this year who didn't wind up on the podium. So do you think maybe Justin has a little bit of anger over that?
Yeah, it was Noah Harmon who went into the closing laps ahead, but there was damage to the left-hand fender of his car, as I remember. And Justin made up a couple of positions on, I think it was the final lap, actually, just to be the best rookie. That mostly white car, Nate Cicero, very easily spotted in the multicoloured melange that we have nowadays. Great to see. The cars are supplied in white. They can be painted a different base colour, but it really doesn't matter nowadays with the advances in vinyl and aero paint style technology. My goodness me, there would have been a few years ago when the only way we would have been able to tell these cars apart was looking at the driver's helmet colours. I remember used to doing single manufacturer series before the advent of vinyl, and whatever the cars were supplied in, that was it. You'd get one or two brave teams who might do a little bit of spray paint on their cars. And congratulations to all of our teams who, as ever, have turned out a brilliant field of cars for us. It's the biggest field we've seen on the streets of St. Petersburg. We're down a few cars after some problems in qualifying and free practice before that, but still we have started more cars here than we ever have done before, and there's no sign of anything other than growth in the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Championship presented by Michelin.
They can't actually build the cars fast enough for the number of people who want to come into the series. It's, guys, you got to get in the queue, and the back
Stand
is
in line.
Way back there. You see this racing, and John, you and I experience this all the time. You walk in the paddock, everyone asks you about, how do I get a ride in this?
Yeah, and we're talking about people. In fact, there are IndyCar drivers who have just finished their race. No spoilers here if you're going to do catch-up later on. There are IndyCar drivers. There are
former IndyCar drivers. There's Formula One world champions.
Yes.
Yep.
Cup, Xfinity and truck drivers,
yep.
All of whom have expressed an interest. And indeed, of course, in Connor Zilic, we have an alumni of this championship who is going the other way. Yep,
Connor, who finished second in his rookie year and broke the mold for how rookies are supposed to behave in this championship. You learn from your elders, and then in your second year maybe you come in and challenge for the championship. Nope, Connor didn't do any of that. He actually almost won the championship, if not for a few points here or there, which he would have benefited from getting one more fast lap in a race, or one more pole position, or leading the most laps, as Weston Workman has completed yet another one, and it has only been Jeremy Fletcher who has led a lap other than Weston Workman.
And Weston Workman's pulled the pin a little bit here, to use a motorcycle term, because he's pulled out, and in doing so he's taken the fastest lap of the race, of 1:24.328. That is 76.5 miles an hour, 76.8 miles an hour, should I say. So let's call that 77. And a reminder that there are a couple of very slow corners here at St. Pete's. So that tells you how much these guys are on the throttle and how much momentum they're taking through the faster turns.
And why has he pulled the pin? Because it is no longer a friendly face behind him. Well, I mean, it's not like Jeremy Fletcher doesn't have a friendly face, but he has rage in his eyes. And clearly, I think Stephen actually has turned on the voice-to-car communication from the airplane and said, "Go get him, son," because it looks like Jeremy Fletcher is quite ready to take the lead of this race.
Yeah, this is very interesting now.
21 minutes and 45 seconds to go.
We're just over halfway. Let's remind ourselves, the tactics are playing out. There's no mandatory pit stops here. In fact, if you're in the pit lane, something's going wrong, generally speaking. But that said, there is still tactics. The drivers have got to work out. They've got to know how much performance they've got in their Michelin tyres. And here is an unscheduled pit stop for Steve Webber. One of the rookies.
A local to St. Petersburg. Steve's done some running in some other series and GT4 TCR cars in the past, but he thought there's no better opportunity than to come race on the streets of St. Pete. Really sad to see him finishing today's race in the pits.
Yeah, I like this idea of the driver having to, in some ways, work out themselves. They're the ones that know how the cars feel as the racing fuel burns off, as the Michelin tyres are either giving more or less grip. And you might think, well, no, well, tyres are going to wear out. You'll always get less grip toward the end. But the cars are getting lighter. The track is getting more Michelin rubber on them. Remember, it's been a different set of rubber that's been on there. I'm told by the drivers that actually the Mazda Michelin rubber works quite well with the IndyCar rubber. Sometimes that's not the case. And the track, you'll hear people saying, you know, we went out there and the track was very greasy if they've had a different manufacturer rubber on the track. I don't think that's the case here.
No, and the only grease that's on the track is actually being laid down from some of the cars. Yes. And unfortunately, we've just had a mechanical black flag for Whelen Mazda. He's been called into the pit lane. There's also been, quote, a gear oil smell from somewhere near the back of the 27. So that car also will be coming into the pit lane in a few moments' time.
That's Whelen Mazda.
That's Whelen, yeah.
Yeah, that's Whelen. Now, and when you say that, hypoid oil or differential oil, that has a very, very distinctive smell. It doesn't smell like engine oil. It has an almost a bitter smell, and once you've been around racing a little while, you will pick that up. And of course, these are open top cars. One of the great joys of Mazda MX-5 Cup racing is that these are open top cars. Whilst the weather's good, that's great, and natural air conditioning, but away from the driver's comfort, it's good for us as the yellow flags are out, heading into
local yellow
only, heading at the right-hander at Bayshore, and that was a car being pushed away. And hearing that is Elio, so he hasn't got back to the pits, so maybe that issue with his car has caused him a problem. I was just going to say that apart from the driver comfort point of view, for us it makes life good because these are aerodynamically quite an interesting car with what we have behind the windscreen, which is the FIA cage, and that breaks up the air, and that means there's a big draft, a big slipstream effect, and that's what's happening now between first and second.
And just while we quickly are mentioning the safety developments of these cars, we should mention that Tom Long, who's long been a factory Mazda driver,
Tom.
He's been responsible for developing so much of the fundamental bits of this car. Yesterday was his birthday, so happy belated birthday to Tom.
Happy birthday, Tom. And to the whole Long family are indelibly linked with MX-5 Long Road Racing. Did the original development. Not good for the 27 and the Mesa Alessandros sponsored car with the yellow wing mirrors.
Oh gosh,
deciding it was better. Yeah, he's pulled out a line there. That's Elio.
Good man.
Good man. he's decided not to complete the rest of that lap. Now, he may have had a problem that he thought he might not have got to the pit lane, but either or, I think that's actually really good for the rest of the competitors. That's a lot of respect. That's good heads-up driving. He knows that his race is already run. He doesn't want to get stranded on the track, or, well, we saw it yesterday, particularly going down to turn 10, which would have been the next part of the track he was heading down to. You do not want to have loss of traction when you're turning into that high commitment left-handed kink at the end of Bayshore Drive.
Yeah, and Whelen Mazda is a young man whose praises I've been singing for more than a year now. First met him at the shootout last year when he was up for the spec MX-5 scholarship, which he came away with. Yes, sorry, 2023.
Yeah.
And then last year, he came in for the big money. He walked away second to Noah Harmon, so he got another big check. That was $100,000 to come run in the series this year.
And that's that. I mean, he could have walked away with that money. That's not just to come Mazda race.
It's scholarship money.
Is that
yes,
scholarship
yes,
money?
the scholarship does put forth towards this racing.
Okay.
But Elio, fourth in the first race at Daytona, then was issued a penalty for the carnage at the start of the second race, was unable to race his way back up through the field after that one. And then, unfortunately, at St. Petersburg with the double DNF, it is a big hole that the young man finds himself in. But he will continue to fight the entire way through the season, and we still have 5 rounds to go.
In some ways, that might make him even more competitive at the front of the field, because if he thinks he's lost out in terms of rookie points, what's he got to go for? He's got to go for overall podiums and overall wins, because there's cash prizes, folding money, real cash money.
Exactly, and we talked about him earlier, Connor Zilic, when he came in and put up a very good fight for the championship just a couple years ago. It was with BSI. That's the team that Whelen Mazda chose to run with this year because he saw Connor Zilic do it.
Ashton Speed leading a group of 4 cars, and right in behind her, Farhan Siddiqui. This is 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th.
Farhan Siddiqui, who is a local to Tampa, getting a bit of a bump there from Maite Caceres, who is recovering from her spin, but she has indeed put the right foot down and is trying to catch back up to Ashland Speed, because we talked about real cash money. There is a cash prize at the end of this race for the best finishing woman in the field, and right now that is not going her way, so she needs to keep moving forward. Ashland Speed is further ahead, and Farhan Siddiqui is into the wall.
I think that's coming out of turn 3, is it?
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I do wonder if maybe he had some assistance, because there was some ruffling of feathers going on in the last shot we saw of those cars.
Can he get it into first? Yes, it is coming out of 3. And that is a part of the wall that has been visited by some very big names this weekend. Cars coming through, local yellows at the moment. Race control giving him the opportunity to try and get that Mazda back into gear. The number 95 car dropping down on the timing and scoring. Oh, excuse me, no, that's coming out of 10.
Turn 11.
Yeah, 11, yeah.
Yep. Very strange tire marks going into the wall there, because
that's a swapper.
He was perfectly on line and then issued across the track fairly quickly.
He's moving around in the cockpit and trying to get it restarted.
I wonder if
well off the racing line. It is coming out of 10.
It is out of 10, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I wonder if maybe it knocked something in the gearbox, and so he's having issues trying to get the car engaged in a forward momentum.
Or did he just clip the wall and break a steering arm, or a right rear suspension? Because the witness marks across the road, if those are his, have him going into the wall at quite an oblique angle. Right, let's see if we can work it out. Right in behind was the number 12 is Maite Caceres. There's no touch there. Oh, there is there though. Oh, and there's a push. It's not the touch, it's the push.
Yes.
And that will be being looked at by race control. Meantime, at the front of the field, Western Workman still leads. Jeremy Fletcher with the fastest lap now in second place, as we have gone full course yellow.
And who is the happiest driver in the field about this? Yesterday's race winner and championship leader, Jared Thomas, because his 6-second deficit just got erased.
Correct. Tyler Gonzalez is going to have some company. Nathan Nicholson will move up as well. Still in 5th position, 6th when I say move up in terms of real estate, won't change the position. Glenn McGee in 6th, 7th. just another Connors, best of the rookies.
Ooh.
That was, well, now that's interesting.
That was some serious hip and shoulder from Jeremy Fletcher as he dove down the inside of Weston Workman going into turn 4. Ultimately, it resulted in Tyler Gonzalez taking the lead of the race. So we have had a change in the order,
yes,
but it's not the change that we expected.
No, Tyler Gonzalez and Jeremy Fletcher are now both ahead of Weston Workman. Jeremy Fletcher, as I said, has got the fastest lap, all while we were trying to work out what had happened further down the field. Now, put the date of March the 25th into your diaries, because that is the start of something new and something very exciting for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, an Amazon original series on Prime. It's called First to the Finish, and it'll take you behind the scenes. Now, we don't have scripts in racing, and this show has no script either. Not reality TV, no, this is a docu-series that will take you into the paddock and onto the track to see exactly what happens in this exciting series. First to the Finish, premiering March.
The MX-5 Cup is the pinnacle of action. We are starting a new era of racing.
There has not been a female winner in MX-5 Cup history.
Oh, I want it so bad. I have to fight every human instinct to not have any fear.
I'm not your mom, I'm your boss.
Nice job, guys!
When the helmet goes on, nothing else matters.
Turns out we know what we're doing!
First to the Finish then, on Prime, March the 25th. And Shay, you've been in contact with some of the people who have been making this. You've seen an extended version of that trailer. You saw it back at Daytona for the 24th. By the way, some good news in that we've got our driver out of the 95 car, Farhan Siddiqui, and the BSI racing car. He's fine.
Yep.
He'll be disappointed. But yeah, you've seen a bit more footage than we've just been talking about and been given access to. What do you reckon?
Goosebumps. It made me very emotional. I was in a room with Shay Holbrook, Heather Hadley, and Sally Maude as well.
Who are heavily featured in that.
Yes.
It's effectively following their trials and tribulations.
Correct. It starts off with them as the focus, but of course this series is so much more than any single person or any group of people. It's all encompassing, and so you really get a feel for the families that are the teams, and that's the whole point of it. The camera crew that's been following us around all year, last year, and even continuing into this year, Sarah and Liz and all the people behind the scenes too, they're so driven to try and tell the stories.
We get excited, and so do our viewers and listeners, about the racing, and rightly so. But this is trying to give everyone a little bit of a peek behind the velvet rope, if you will, to show just how much these do not look like sophisticated racing cars. And in fairness, you know, this isn't IndyCar, it's not WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. But the amount of effort that goes into getting these cars to the track and on the track, and what happens between races and at the racetrack, that is almost exactly the same as in any other series, right up to World Championship level. And the emotion that is going into it is the same.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple of people that have said on Twitter, whatnot, you know, oh, finally a Drive to Survive for the pinnacle of motorsport. Well, this is not Drive to Survive. This This is not fabricated.
No.
There is no emotion in this that shouldn't be there, and they do show emotion that perhaps you don't get to see.
Well, let me be quite candid about this. We don't need to manufacture any drama in Whelen Mazda MX-5.
Gosh, if I could tell you what's been happening behind the scenes today, even because we have a later race, so what people have been doing walking around, I've been told very reliably that today is a very nice day to have a bucket of popcorn and just sit there and watch people talking in the paddock, so you don't need to add anything.
8 minutes to go behind the First to the Finish safety car now. Helping, it was the chrome horn, wasn't it?
Oh.
Right on the, actually, do you know what? There's a career in law enforcement there. That was absolutely the pit move. That was spot on. Farhan Siddiqui's not going to be very happy with that. It looked like he had to just get out of the throttle as he was coming through 10.
Yep.
But that is no excuse, I'm afraid. Race control would be looking at that.
My take is Hiras is a student at Miami-Dade College, so
right.
maybe she can start looking into the career force of joining the Miami PD. Always looking for good drivers in Miami. But for Farhan, this is a bit of a heartbreak. He does call Tampa, Florida home. He's a spine and orthopedic surgeon. He always represents Fast MD, which is something that we've seen in racing for a long time. And in 1991, he made his debut in racing in a Mazda at Watkins Glen. The car was red and it had the number 95 on it. So he is the original Lightning McQueen.
Wow. Wonder how much he got paid for that then.
Right. Millions.
Little bit of evidence on the front of that number 12 car. But I think what we saw was pretty damning as well. 6.5 minutes to go as the green flag is in the air. Thank you, Tony. As enthusiastic as ever on the flag stand. 1, 2, 3 across, and defense from Tyler Gonzalez, but he can't defend all of them. And wow, what a move by Nicholson, coming through from what was that, 6th at the start, 5th at the start, and he's gone to the lead. I don't believe it. Don't phone, don't call. That is the overtake of the season so far. As further back down the field, we've got a spinner. That was the number 54.
Heather.
That was Heather Hadley. But my goodness me, we don't have a pass of the race. If we did, there's no doubt that Nathan Nicholson has just taken that and run off into the distance. Brilliant piece of opportunist manoeuvring. And Tyler Gonzalez did nothing much wrong on the restart. He couldn't defend from everybody. There was 4 wide behind. And I have no clue how Nathan Nicholson found the space, the Mazda MX-5 width to get through. Nate Cicero now in the white, red and green car trying to come down the inside at turn 10 as he's trying to move up from 8th position. I still can't quite believe what I saw on the restart. That is going to be on every highlight reel from now till the end of the season.
Nathan Nicholson with the Whelen Aerospace Technologies car is flying on the airport at St. Pete. You've been
waiting for that.
He set me up for it weeks ago, John. He has been waiting for this opportunity to get a main sponsor, and it came. He was 5th on the restart, 4th in mine.
Right, 5th on the restart. So everybody pulls out. It's the black, orange, and black, yellow, and white car.
He stays patient and then dives to the apex when the hole opens up, hangs around the outside of Tyler Gonzalez as Heather Hadley got some assistance. It was a white-ish car. Now, I say that because Nate Cicero has a white-ish car, but I don't think he was anywhere near it. And the mirrors have started flying.
Ah, yes. If only I had the contract for the door mirrors in this championship. Side by side.
And Gonzalez leads.
And Gonzalez has gone through the red car. The number 57's gone back to the front. I'm still giving Nathan Nicholson the overtake in the race for picking his way through. And a spinner, that's a car facing, that's Alex Bashura. He's not having one of his better weekends. Hardly mentioned his name. Yesterday, he finished solidly in the midfield, but that was all. Actually, I think he's run straight on there.
At turn 4, yeah, I think you're right, John. Bashura, who had a dismal time at Daytona, he didn't actually make it to the track before the first qualifying session. P15 in the first race, DNF in the second, and then DNF in yesterday's race.
3rd place for Jared Thomas in the head of that snarling group of MX-5 with Cicero right oh no, that's not Cicero right behind him.
That's Bobby Gossett.
It's Bobby. Where's he come from?
Another one of our rookies. He was to try and claim that honor.
He was 10th or 11th on the restart, so he's picked his way through the carnage as well.
It's Ataconis.
Oh no, it's Ataconis, yes. Well, he was still further down the field, so he's now 4th position. My goodness me. That's the white-fronted car. We've got slippery surface and yellows at turn number 4 as they turn off 1st Street onto 2nd Avenue. So, yeah, that clearly is where the car of Alex Bachura is stranded. 3 minutes to go. So I don't think we'll get the white flag this time around. Let's see. what time they come back.
Tell you what, Tawny, please just hang on to it for another lap. This is too good to throw the white flag at this stage.
Tawny,
Tyler
hang on to
Gonzalez on the other stand is saying, no, throw the white flag. Throw the checkered now. That would be awesome.
Tony, lose all the flags at this point, because I don't want this to end. It's been brilliant.
They will run out of fuel eventually, John.
Great. Let's keep them going. 2:29 to go. They come into the final corner for what will be the end of lap number 28. I'm looking to the starter stand at the moment. There's no sign of Tony picking up that white flag. We'll get 1, 2. That'll be 2 more laps at 1.8 miles.
Thank you, Tawny.
Down towards the first corner. The two leaders are having their own scrap at the moment. Jared Thomas in third, Weston Workman down in fourth, Jeremy Fletcher with the fastest lap, and side by side with Thomas and Weston Workman. I think Workman in the blue and white car might have just squeezed through. No, Thomas somehow hangs on to the last step of the podium. He's going to have to be super defensive going into turn 4. Can't overtake here. Can't overtake here. Still can't overtake here. I'm going to keep saying it, guys. And they didn't overtake.
They did not.
But now they can. There's a green flag now. Weston Workman did see that, and well done to the corner worker who had the flag out. It was being blown in the wind, and he leaned further out. It was a static yellow, but it had to be shown there because of Batura in the runoff area. Great work by the flag marshal.
And all 3 of those drivers were doing the little brother thing of, I'm not touching, I'm not touching. They were not overtaking, but they were still not giving an inch to each other. And Jeremy Fletcher,
in the wall, Workman in the wall. He's taken out another car.
Fletcher.
It's a 22 of Jeremy Fletcher. Got sideways, and Cicero's involved in that. Is it?
No,
no,
that's Adaconis.
It's Adaconis. It's the other white-fronted car again. Oh, with 58 seconds to go, we'll get the white flag this time around. And that's a huge change, particularly for Justin Adaconis in the Rookies Championship. I think he was an innocent party, and that is going to set the podium because Jared Thomas is on his own. Weston Workman's not going to get to the end of the race.
That's Ashland Speed, who's been caught out by the not so slow-moving Weston Workman. There's a drive-through penalty coming the way of Carolyn Candace as well for contact with Heather Hadley. That takes out 2 of our female competitors trying to get that $2,000 check.
This is still not over because at the front of the field, Tyler Gonzalez and Nathan Nicholson are still racing, and they'll race back to the line. They're halfway through the final lap now. As debris on the circuit, and that gets picked up by the leader, and there's traffic in front of them. And my goodness, we've had drama once again. So is there anything left? We've seen that it is possible to drag past coming out of the final corners, 13 and 14, onto the start-finish line. There'll be yellow flags somewhere down here because we've got cars off at the side of the track. There's the waved yellow, so can't overtake going into 13. But where's the green? There'll be a green flag on the exit here, but I don't think there's going to be the opportunity as Heather Hadley is still moving. That was the white car ahead. And on the second race of the weekend, it is Tyler Gonzalez who takes the victory from Nathan Nicholson in second. Jared Thomas will make up the third place and stand on the podium. And there's a few damaged cars there. Donuts for the victory for the classic Mazda sponsored red, white and black number 57 BSI racing car. Advanced Autosports in the shape of Nathan Nicholson in second, and Jared Thomas for JTR in third position. Noah Harmon is going to get the best rookie just ahead of Bobby Gossett, and Jack Murchison in his first weekend will be third best of the rookies. And as I look down, we'll check out who is the best of the females. So Workman down the inside, he runs long, he's not pulling that one up, hits the wall, clips the back of Jeremy Fletcher, who just about got away with it, but it was the 21 coming up the inside, the light blue and white car, that had nowhere to go, and that starts the chain reaction further back down the field. And Weston with broken right front suspension, then catching Ashland Speed as she was coming through. She still scored in 20th position. I think it is Carolyn Candace.
She has an unserved penalty.
Right.
So
then
her penalty is pending.
Oh no, Sally
Or
Mott.
Sally.
Sally in 10th. 10th for Sally, who picked her way through the incident.
And which driver then winds up with our Takumi Award, which is drivers of a certain age?
Is it Peter Atwater again?
I think it is Peter Atwater
Yeah.
again. Points provisionally, very provisionally.
Yeah,
Because
we had
everything,
changes yesterday.
we had a lot of changes yesterday. You can see on my piece of paper there were a lot of changes yesterday.
There's a lot of crossings out, dear viewer and listener.
Jared Thomas maintains the championship lead with unofficially 1,190 points, but 110 points behind him. It is a tie between Jeremy Fletcher and Nathan Nicholson.
Yeah, Jeremy Fletcher got the extra points there for fastest lap. Gonzalez, Nicholson and Thomas on the box for the podium presentations. Jeremy Fletcher in fourth, Cicero, Noah Harmon, the best of the rookies. Bobby Gossett, a close second in that contest. Glenn McGee shuffled back to 8th ahead of Bryce Cornet, who came through the field. Bryce must have made up quite a lot of positions, actually. Sally Mott with her best finish of the season in 10th. Parker DeLong, Jack Murchison, on his first weekend at this level of Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup racing, finishes lucky for him in 13th and 3rd of the rookies. Then Mete Caceres, Vaughn Miko, Ruben Caceres Matos, Chris Haldeman with a better result than yesterday. Justin Adeconis is still scored in 18th despite that incident, and Ashlyn and Heather coming through in 20th and 23rd with Ren Messinger between them. Behind them, Bailey Cruz, remember, pulled off. That was very, very good driving when he knew he had a problem. Problems for Grant West. Alex Bashira stranded in the turn 4 runoff, and Farhan Siddiqui pushed into the wall. Elion Mesa with problems earlier on. Steve Webber and Ethan Goulart also not getting the results that they were looking for. Late race drama. We don't need to write that into the script for first to the finish, do we? Because it happens organically and naturally.
And the camera crews are already on the way to talk to the drivers as
Of course
they're getting
they
out.
are.
You just know it's going to happen. The only driver...
Unfiltered.
complete-
No time to get even cool down for that.
No, and it is completely unfiltered. The best part of today will be Tyler Gonzalez. He will be the driver that has the biggest smile on his face. Nathan Nicholson, though, got to give him credit for that pass. He might be smiling, even though he had a view at his first career win in this championship. And it was 3rd yesterday, 2nd today. Will it be 1st when we get to Barber?
Another cracking circuit coming up, and another share with IndyCar. The next round for us. Thank you very much for being with us once again. The streets of St. Pete's, we've just absolutely blown through the speed limits here as far as the 30 miles an hour, averaging 77 miles an hour around the lap here for these Mazda MX-5. Tyler Gonzalez takes race 2 on a weekend that he won't forget. What about Nathan Nicholson and that charge to the front from 5th to 1st in 2 corners on the restart? There was incident, accident, and a bit of controversy, and we'll do it all again in Barber in a few weeks' time. Join Shea Adam and me, John Hindhaugh, for that. See you at the racetrack. Bye for now.